Alright, so last week, the third film in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise came out. We now have 3 films and 1 TV show. Here's my ranking. Alright, before I get started, please make sure to subscribe, like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what is your opinions on the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise and your ranking of them, however many projects you've seen in this franchise. I want to know all that and more down below. For me, pretty big fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. When that first movie came out, I was never really a Sonic fan because I grew up with the Mario Bros. And that's why I enjoyed that movie so much, just because I grew up with the Mario Bros. But when that first movie came out, I enjoyed it. And ever since then, the franchise was just really good. It always found a way to mix 2 things of Sonic and all this mystical stuff, and then the earthly world stuff, and each movie, I think, is compelling, but we gotta rank them. So again, before I get started, what is your ranking down below? Subscribe, like button, hit the bell, and let's dive right in, should I say, run right in, to number 4, easily Knuckles, the TV show, one of my least favorite TV shows of the year. It's frustrating because we got 3 very good, very great quality movies, and then we got Knuckles as the show in this universe, which just doesn't fit whatsoever. The first 3 episodes I thought were really good. I was like, what is everyone hating on the show over? I'm really enjoying this. I mean, we get to spend more time with the character of Knuckles. Idris Elba is hilarious in that role. One of my favorite characters in Sonic franchise, if not my favorite. It's pretty funny. There's even a really cool action sequence around the table that in episode 3. Very, very cool stuff there. And then episode 4 starts, and right where we're at the height of the show, right where it gets so compelling, we decide to make Knuckles the back burner, put Wade front and center, and make that entire episode a music video. We're singing and dancing about Sonic and doing like this music video thing for the entire episode. A 30-minute long music video. What? What was the idea there? I don't know why. I don't know where that was. And then, to make matters even worse, we see Knuckles in like maybe 6 more scenes throughout the entire show. The entire actual plot is put on a back burner for a story about Wade and his father in a bowling tournament. It is incredibly stupid, not compelling whatsoever, and where there was compelling stuff in this show, just completely forgets all of that. Very, very disappointing. And then, like, even the finale, the stuff that actually mattered with Knuckles, kind of just resolved in a 10-minute fight sequence at the end of it. I don't know what the idea was here. If you're going to make a Knuckles show, but you can't show Knuckles, I don't know if it was a budget issue, or a script issue, or if this was some sick joke, because I can't imagine anyone in the right mind at Paramount Studios would decide, you know what? You know what would be good? A Knuckles show, or a Wade Whipple show disguised as a Knuckles show. There has to be some behind-the-scenes bullcrap to have gone down there. Because I do not believe for a second that this was an actual idea for the show. That the Wade bowling plot was an actual idea for the show. If you don't have enough story for the show, cut down a couple episodes. Make the episodes shorter. It's not that hard. Yet we got a uncompelling plot, and it just really wasn't that good. Disappointing because these 3 next movies I'm going to talk about are very quality. They're very close together, in my opinion. With that said, number 3, Sonic 2. And this is a little bit of a hot take because when the movie first came out, a lot of people loved it. A lot of people still really like this movie. I like it a lot. I really do. The best thing about this movie is that the Sonic 1 was just a fun road trip adventure, and that's why I enjoyed it so much. This movie ups the stakes. It is a movie that has fate-of-the-world consequences with Eggman. You got Knuckles in there. Again, Idris Elba plays his character perfectly, or voices his character perfectly. Absolutely hilarious stuff in there. Story is bigger, has more stakes in here. And a thing I like to say quite often is, bigger does not always equal better. I think in this case it does. A bigger story, more Easter eggs, calling back to the Sonic franchise. Very fun movie still, but also has a little bit more weight to it than that original movie does. I still really, really dug this movie. I thought it was a very good Sonic sequel. never find myself in the mood to rewatch this one that much. Like, I rewatched it, was excited to rewatch it for actually the first time since I've seen it in 2022. And I rewatched it, and I said, yeah, this was good. This is pretty good. There was great stuff in here, but it's just not as enjoyable as that original Sonic movie. And where I say that it's not as enjoyable, just gotta throw it out there that I would much rather rewatch Sonic 1 or Sonic 3, either one that is higher on this list, because I just find those movies more fun, have more substance to it. This one works, but another thing is, this movie is over 2 hours long, which means it's longer, definitely things you could have cut out here. A lot of people complain about the wedding plotline. I really, really do enjoy that wedding plotline, just because I find it so funny. The main comical stuff in this movie comes from Knuckles and that wedding sequence. Found those things hilarious. But a thing I really did find dragged this movie down to be not as enjoyable is instead of Sonic interacting with Tom, he's interacting with Knuckles, or not Knuckles, he's interacting with Tails throughout the movie. And I liked Tails in Sonic 3. I thought he was fine. But in this movie, it just kind of is like Tails being like, Sonic, you're a hero, yay, Sonic. Those two had no chemistry in this movie. And so when you're just hanging out with the two, it's just not as fun. And that's the thing, this movie just isn't as fun as the original Sonic the Hedgehog. So I always found it to be a little bit of a step down. Still great stuff in here. Big story. Has a lot of callbacks to Sonic Easter eggs. Really great stuff in here. Knuckles, fantastic villain. Just can't find it as enjoyable as my number 2, which is Sonic the Hedgehog 1. And calling back, I just find this one to be really enjoyable. It's a typical road trip movie with Sonic and Tom. Obviously, you got the human character stuff. But it just manages to be entertaining. Really entertaining. When we're just chilling with Sonic, we're just chilling with Tom and doing stuff. And obviously, you have the villain plot and Dr. Eggman. You have all that in this film. But the main course of the film is just about friendship. Friendship between Tom and Sonic. It's quite funny. There are some cool action sequences. It's not as Sonic lore heavy as 2 and 3 are. This is more of a different kind of movie. The rest of the franchise decides to be like actual Sonic the Hedgehog stuff. This was just Sonic and Tom hanging out. And even though it might not be the best movie, it's probably one of the most entertaining and the one that I will constantly go back to and rewatch. That's the best thing I can say about a movie, is that I want to watch it. And I did want to watch this movie. When I rewatched it a couple weeks ago, really enjoyed it. I will always really enjoy this particular film over Sonic 2, just because I find this one to be a little bit more entertaining. Another thing is, it's under 2 hours. The 2-hour runtime for Sonic 2 makes the movie feel more massive, but it also makes it feel longer. This movie really did enjoy, and it has a heartfelt message to it that I really enjoyed. But my favorite film in the Sonic franchise, and if you've seen my review of it that came out a couple days ago, you would know it already. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Freaking love this movie, man. This movie was awesome. Everything I wanted it to do. Something that when I saw Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, didn't think they'd ever pull it off. Wanted them to, but I didn't think they'd ever pull off something like this. And man, they completely pulled it off in flawless fashion. From the very beginning of the movie, it is just non-stop action. The scope feels big, but it's able to stay under 2 hours. There are scenes where you actually believe people will die. Keanu Reeves' Shadow doesn't have comedy, so you feel the weight there. His backstory, endlessly emotional. I pretty much cried in the theater. The action sequences are great. That whole third act, one of the best third acts of the year. This is the movie in the Sonic franchise that makes you cheer out loud, and I 100% did cheer out loud. That mid-credit scene, bro, ask my brother. I was jumping up and down my seat like, oh my god, 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 we're actually going there. And it makes someone who didn't grow up with the Sonic games, someone who's a fan of the film franchise, get so giddy to know where we're going next in the franchise and to know how good this movie was. Can't spoil it, but that third act, man, some of the best stuff that we've seen this movie, or this year. Because we have emotions in here, great villain, 2 Jim Carreys are better than 1. They had fantastic chemistry. Well, he had fantastic chemistry with himself. Really weird to say that. But the film is hilarious while also being very emotional and very shockingly dark. And to call back to that second act, or that third act, it is awesome. And so this is the sheer movie of the year, besides Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously. Both of those movies in my top 10 of the year. Man, I freaking love this movie. And I'm telling you guys, go see this movie over Mufasa, or maybe don't see it over Nosferatu. It really depends on what your views on horror films are. Hey, speaking of Nosferatu, there's a review coming for that movie here in a couple of days. Stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Tell me down below what is your ranking of the Sonic franchise. We got end of the year list coming very, very soon. With that said, subscribe to the Nerd Army. Peace out.